I just got a great deal, I think. Picked up this double pumper carburetor for $70, and that's a generally good price for anything, but this thing's kind of a mystery. There's no choke horn, so there's no part numbers, and there's a red base plate, which, you know, sometimes that happens, but there's usually red metering blocks too, and I don't have that. So I'm going to blow this thing apart, see if I can't figure out what in the world I bought, and get a good rebuild on it, and install it on the Ranger. So let's go. Like I said, I have no idea what carburetor this is, but it is a double pumper, and I've handled a few of those before. I don't think it's going to be any different. I'm anxious to understand anything on this and maybe just figure out why it was such a good deal. I hope there's no good reason for that. I hope it's just because it was a good deal. But yeah, let's tear into it. I'm not expecting to do a whole lot of how-tos while I do this, but I'll try to talk through a little bit, and if you guys have any questions, I'm not a carburetor guru, but I am fairly experienced with them, so if there's any questions you have, just go ahead and ask in the comments, and I'll try to respond to every one of them. Immediately I see these are a little looser than I usually leave them, but I'm not sure that's our culprit. I don't see any real signs of leaked gasoline. That was interesting. This has a crazy spring in it. I have never seen a spring like this. This might be the spring for a 40cc, but this has got the smaller housing on it. So immediately, that might be something to look at. Since there's no screws on the secondary here, it should just pop off, but it's being a little stubborn. Okay. You can see just a little bit of debris in some passages, but that is a power valve plug in the secondaries. Also, this was just finger tight, which is not correct. I'm going to put this in the secondary side pile. And I'd like to be able to get this metering block separated from the bowl. There we go. I am curious what jets we have in here. Currently has 74 jets in it. I'm going to leave those until I find out what is standard for this carburetor. Assuming I can figure out what carburetor this is. The float in here is a brass unit. You don't want that under boost, but I don't have any direct boost plans. Needle and seat looks operational as far as it's not sticking, it's coming back down. Of course, I would always replace those given the opportunity. I really want to take this base plate off and see if there's part numbers on it, but I'm going to wait till the end to build the suspense. These bolts on the primary side are torqued down a little bit more than the secondary side was, except for that one. I am sweating bullets. I'm so sorry, guys. This can't be fun to watch. It's not because I'm nervous, I promise. It's, if it ain't the heat, it's the humidity. It's practically raining in here, and that's just me. Okay. See how this side comes apart. There are no bolts currently. Let's give that a whack. Perfect. Nothing's happening. See if I can just brute strength it. Nope. You know I had to try. Might need to build a more sturdy table sometime. I guess you know, it's probably here just a little bit, but I don't like to. Okay, here comes the metering block. Alright. Okay. Here is the driver's side. This actually has a power valve in it. I think it's a 4 or 5 power valve. This one's actually torqued into it, so that's nice. Let's see for the squirters. There's a 31 squirter in the front and 31 squirter in the rear. I think I'm ready to pop this base plate off and see if I can see even what it is. I don't know if it's going to be a AED something or a Holley aftermarket something. I also noticed that the valves on the base plates look enormous, so I think that this would fit up to like an 850 carburetor. My gut instinct is that this is a 650. Now I'll be honest with you, I really like a 750, but yeah, we're building this thing on a budget. This was $70 was the right price. It's a little stuck. Let's see. Yep. So I might have glued it together. Let's see what looks like an ideal place to pry a little bit. Here we go. Okay. On this unit, I see no brand names, no part numbers. Yep. Unfortunately, I am no closer to knowing what this is. If you can see the throttle plates and how much actuated they are from a stop, that is not what you typically like to see. And there's an adjustment for that right here. There's a little Allen wrench that we can, well, take that back. That looks like it's got a, okay. Yeah, I don't think this is a Holley base plate, guys. It's got to be something aftermarket. We have a secondary idle speed adjustment, or that's what I'm taking it to be right here. Okay, unscrew that, then these are closing nicely. But yeah, I don't see any sort of part numbers on this. My gut's telling me it's not Holley brand because of the Torx fasteners here, the way that the secondary has a very nicely designed adjustment. Most carburetors you have to take them off the engine each time that you do it, and this is nice. You can adjust that, I presume, while it's on the car, which will be great. So yeah, this thing's totally blown apart. We can go ahead and take out the screws here, just because I do want to get in everywhere and give it a good cleaning, since I know nothing about this and it was too good of a deal, if you know what I mean. There was no gasket underneath this, which I believe, yeah, they're usually supposed to be. Yeah, this one did have the gasket underneath it. I'm going to go ahead and dump these out before I accidentally do and lose them, but they're... There we go. A little stuck. I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I have, well... Actually, no, let's go ahead and blow this apart. Got my 1-inch wrench here for my power valve. Perfect. I'm going to at least try to get the metering block off the pole right quick. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're good. Okay. Alright. So both sides have a whistle in them, that's good. There are 72 jets in the front. I'm going to say that this is misadjusted. It feels like the float's binding somewhat. Either the needle and seat is stuck down too far, or there's some other mechanical binding happening. Okay, so for tonight I've got my tools scattered across my workbench. I'm going to leave it like that, like I do, and carburetor pieces everywhere, like I do. I'm psyched. I think this is going to be a great carburetor. I'll probably do a little bit of shopping online tonight and see if I can't find something that has the... There's a couple of things that are notable. There's the secondary adjustment. There's Allen heads here. There's 2 vacuum ports here and this big beefy one in the back. None of that looks like a standard Holley to me, so it gives me a few things to like just look at and see if I can't figure out what I've got here. Alright guys, so I came out last night and I was looking for some gaskets and just to see if I could rebuild the carburetor without buying any new parts, and A, kind of struck out there. I have half the stuff but not all the stuff. B, we've got a larger problem than that. As you can see here on the throttle base plate, there is these two holes here, and on the carburetor body itself there's these two holes here, and these are not in alignment and they will not work. This is an important circuit. I don't know the right terminology for it, but you can follow it up through the metering block and see how it would probably affect jetting and everything else. And so I'm not going to take a chance on that. I don't think it's going to be the right usage of that part. What we have is a base plate that's for an 850 to 1050 CFM carburetor, and the carburetor itself, from what I can tell by measuring and looking and Googling, is probably a 750, probably a 4779 carburetor. So I've ordered the right base plate from Holley. We're going to go with that route. That's going to arrive in a couple of days, and we'll pick up the video then. Okay, I'm ready to get back on it and wrap this carburetor up. It is currently the 2nd of July, around 10 o'clock at night, and people are shooting off fireworks in the background, so if you hear popping, it's that, and not my crappy audio for once, you know. But just bear with me, and I got the garage door open because it's a nice cool night out, and yeah, we'll see if we can get this wrapped up. So I know before I had mentioned that we had these two holes on this base plate, which kind of signifies that this would be for an 850, probably to a 1050 CFM carburetor. And on the back of the carburetor body itself, we have those holes in a different position. So this is, I'm almost sure, a 750 CFM carburetor from the measurements and references I've seen. And this is an 850 plus base. And so these two parts are never going to work together. You can see this is the gasket that came off of it, and you can see that, I don't know if the camera's going to capture how raised that is, but the vacuum has been trying to pull that gasket up into the carburetor where it can convey the signal that it wants, I believe, to the jet. I'm not totally sure where all that passage goes, but it's on all four corners. So yet again, I'm going to guess this carburetor ran horribly, but we can make it all better. So I got this piece off of eBay, and it's a thing of beauty. It looks brand new. To be 100% honest with you guys, I don't know if it's a Holley part that's been remanufactured or what exactly all is going on with it. But I think it's going to be pretty good. I'm going to be able to work with it. The only thing I have seen is that the dowel pin right here is not straight, but I think I can straighten that up. And other than that, we've just got to swap on the arms for the accelerator pumps, and this thing looks like it's ready to bolt on. And you'll notice that the holes are in the right position to each other to meet the carburetor. So a little bit cleaning here. Let me try to straighten up this dowel pin, or this one rather, and yeah, see what I can get done tonight. So for me, there's two ways to do this. If you have a nice bucket of Chem Tool or the like, you can just dunk the whole thing in there, and that's nice. Just let it sit for a while and it'll get into all the orifices, and you have confidence it's going to get nice and clean. Alternately, I'm pretty content to just spray out the passages. My two favorite ways to do that are with either gum out or Berryman's, and I've got both of those. I've got about a half can each, so that might end up overlapping. You gotta love the smell of carb cleaner at bedtime. Okay. That's all pretty clean. I do believe I'm going to go blow it off right quick and be right back. Okay. Spick and span. Perfect. So I'm just trying to get the little bit of gasket that's stuck on there. So I gloved up because some of this stuff is pretty nasty. It'll dry your hands out in a heartbeat. Go ahead and give this a quick spray off. So for real, safety glasses are a good idea on this. I'm going to stick the nozzle into these holes here. Some of them are blind and this fluid will just come right back out at you. I'm going to just not aim it at myself and hope for the very best. When you do this, you can actually also see where the holes lead. Like this, when I squirted in here, it just shot out the jet, so that tells me something good. So I'm just going to flip it over and do the other side, and then once I've sprayed through all the passages like this, I'm just going to go take it over the air compressor and blow them all out. And that is next best thing to soaking everything for, you know, a good overnight soak. I feel like this metering block is good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and clean up the secondary metering block. After that, I'm going to have to consult my book and I'll see what jet the jets are supposed to be, and I'm going to put it back to at least stock settings for starters, and we'll tune it from there. And got that. I feel like I was about done with that. So not knowing what carburetor I'm dealing with, this is something that's new to me. It has a place for a power valve to go, obviously. There are no power valve restriction channels in the secondary metering block. You can see the two small dots on the primary side. That's what mixes the extra fuel in with the air when the power valve's open for enriching. So this had a plug in it when I got it, and I was kind of criticizing whoever tuned it last, but that might be the only option, because there's no point in putting a power valve in there if it's going to not flow any fuel. So with the power valve, you know, these have 74s. So with no power valve, I would guess that really would need to be richened up more, but we'll consult the book and see what we get. Yep. I think that's cleaned up as well. So I'm going to move on to the body and see if I can't do just exactly the same thing. I stick the cleaner in every hole and see what gives. So everything felt good on that side. Go ahead and give the face just a little dusting and fluid and a light little scrub. I do see just a little bit of gasket material stuck here and there, and this is coming off real nice. Alright, I'm going to do the other side much the same way. And what you want to do is squirt this flammable fluid all over your shop. Don't light a cigarette. I'm not a smoker, but just for those of you that are, throw that out there. Okay. So same thing, I'm just going to give it a quick dusting and quick scrubbing on this side. This side is pretty good to go. So for the main body and for the metering blocks, I'm going to take it over to the compressed air and blow through each hole I just sprayed through. If there is any sort of little debris, that'll be the last little bit that will knock something out. Okay, we're back. Hey, it's the 4th of July today, and so there's probably going to be some background noise, and that's all good. Had a technical difficulty with the GoPro the other night. The SD card was just sure it was full when it was not, so learning curve on my part, sorry about that. But yeah, I did get the carburetor kind of put together mostly, but we're going to blow most of that back apart because I'm going to tell you why. Alright, so like I said, I did get the carburetor mostly assembled, and why I'm going to blow it back apart is... Hey guys, it's Nathan. I'm the editor here on Found on Road Dead, as well as every other role, and wanted to tell you guys and spare you guys the detail of what's about to happen here. I'm going to ramble for about 10 minutes and discuss all the different parts I'm going to rob off of other carburetors, and I just can't bear to edit it, and I don't think you guys want to watch it. So, yeah, we're just going to skip that part. What I'm trying to say is that I'm going to take the accelerator pump spring as well as the arms off of another carburetor, and I'm going to take some fatter jets that I have on another carburetor and swap those into the secondaries because they are supposed to be 80s. So we're going to skip all that, and you're welcome. See ya. So I think first thing I'm going to do is blow this other carburetor apart as much as I need to and take the parts I need to finish this off, and we'll get to wrapping it up. Alright. So this one goes all the way down and travels all the way up. And that's what I never could get out of the other one. So that's what I'm after. Go back in with the needle and seat, get it quasi-adjusted. Quasi. Is that a thing? Do you guys say quasi? I wanted to replace these 74s with 75s because that's worth it. Jeez. Now, you might be asking yourself, does the printed side go up or down? It does go one of those, up or down. I don't know. There we go. That side's in, and there we go. Can you imagine how bad this carburetor was running when I got it? The float was way out of whack. I think that's a very crucial port that was blocked in the base plate there. I'm going to say that main jet was not getting a whole lot of signal. Oh, you remember the secondaries were open like twice as much as they should be? Yeah. I'm going to say this thing was a disaster. Guys, we are real close on this. We just need to move over the arms off of the old base plate. This should just go here, and then hopefully this will ride on this lever right here. That's good, and I probably have a new piece like this, but I don't see anything wrong with this one, so we'll just snap her on there. And now she's good to go. This feels like it's over adjusted, but we'll come back to that. Okay, so we have this thing fully assembled. There she is, 750 double pumper, correctly identified. We've fixed a float issue. The secondaries were way out of control. Wrong part for the job. This is for an 850 to 1050. This is 750. So yeah, we have made a runner out of a non-runner, I think. I think that the truck this came off of, the guy was all excited because he'd gone to fuel injection. He probably really thought he fixed something, huh? But this carburetor was a disaster. It's maybe the worst I've ever seen. So, all right, now let's go throw it on the truck. Maybe. And boom. If you recognize my Harbor Freight tools and you're asking, is that a metric socket? Yeah, it's a 13. Don't judge me. Alright, so with that, guys, I don't know if you know this, but this means my fuel system is 100% complete. So not sure if you guys can see, but we've got the carburetor we just rebuilt going into this line. Goes into a fuel pressure regulator. This is a 97 Ranger that I've been working on, and so I've got the regulator that's going to take it down from around 70 psi to 8 or 7 or 6 or somewhere in there. That goes to the feed line, which is this is a spring locked AN connector right here, and that takes me to the dash 8 fuel line. From there we've got a return from the regulator also. That goes right back into the tank, and so it's not a deadhead system but a return style system. Now you can follow the fuel lines all the way back to the frame rail. We've got the factory fuel filter on the frame rail somewhere, and then we've also got the factory fuel tank in the back. I just found out that the fuel tank is 100% full of fuel. Yeah, it's gonna weigh 150 pounds when I take it out probably. So fuel sloshing everywhere. That's gonna be great. I only want to take it out because I don't know if there's a drain on it. If there's a drain, I'm just gonna drain all that fuel and dispose of it according to EPA guidelines. And get some fresh fuel poured in there, change the fuel filter, and that'll be good. Also, I'm gonna have to wire up the fuel pump somehow. I'm gonna try to use the stock fuel pump, and right now there's no computer in this thing to tell it when to run, and so I'm gonna have to hardwire it somehow, probably get a switch panel in the truck that'll allow me to just turn it on and off. All right, I think a V8 looks good in a 97 Ranger. How about you? And that's a wrap. Look at that 97 Ranger. Beautiful engine sitting in it. So I want to thank you so much for watching. I am so excited about this build. I love this project. This is something that I've been planning for, I bought the truck in 2004. So 21 years. When I bought the truck, I wanted to V8 swap it. That was my plan. And you know, life gets in the way sometimes. I don't want to say like gets in the way. You have other joys in your life. You have family and kids and all that kind of stuff. But eventually we get back to it. So that's what I'm doing here. This is the long-term project that I've been dreaming about. And over the last year, it's got A, to my house, and B, got an engine and transmission sitting in it. So we're totally stoked on that. Goal might be to get this thing to Tucson, Arizona this fall. Duct tape drags are happening there. I'd love to take it there, and you know, there's a burnout pit with Derek Bieri. There's Freiburger, I think, is hosting it, along with who knows who. I'd love to go meet all those people, take this down there and see what we can do. For me to do that, though, I'm going to need you guys' support. I am sitting right now at 256 subscribers, and if you're one of them, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. My goal with this channel is to get to 1,000 plus, but I've always hoped that you guys would help me out. Just hit the red button and we can make it happen together. So thanks so much for watching. Hope you'll check out some of my other videos, and I will see you in 2 weeks.